Well, I know what you're all thinking. Didn't she do well? No, seriously. I'm sure you'll all agree she looks beautiful today. She looks very nice. I was quite surprised when I turned around and I thought a body double was coming down the aisle. She looked very nice. Thanks to Keith for his kind words. While I'm on the subject of Keith, I don't know if there's anybody here with greater mobile phone technology knowledge than myself or he has got, because he's got me in his phone as Dave, under D for Dave, but obviously now that I'm married to Joanne, I'll need transferring to the O's for our Dave, along with our Margaret, our Brendan, and all the others. So if anybody can help him with that, would appreciate it. Obviously, I'd reiterate what he said, thanking everybody for coming, but we've got one or two special thanks for roles that people have undertaken in the military process that led to the day that we're having today. First of all, thanks James and Tammy for the speeches, the readings, whatever they're called, earlier on today. Lily and Elliot for doing such an excellent job supporting Joanne, who I've got to say I've never seen look more petrified than when she arrived at my side, but that's probably understandable. Michaela has made the cakes for us, which I'm sure you'll demolish in due course later on, and her husband Andrew for doing all the printing, the room setting, the table settings and the invitations. And finally, and hopefully this is a justified thanks, I'm thanking Simon for being my best man, but I don't yet know what he's going to say. So that's the one bit of doubt I've got in my mind there, but I'm sure it will be fine. And again, Tammy, Louise and Susie for helping prepare the room today. I've got one or two presents for people, if I could hand them out now. And do Elliot first. Elliot, got a present for you, mate. What time is it? What about that? Child abuse. Child abuse.
Let's carry it together, Elliot.
You put it on.
Whoa. Elliot, let's go.
Let's go.
Super.
You know what you're getting for Christmas?
Shall I say you've forgotten that? Lily, we have got a present for you, but unfortunately Auntie Jo's left it in the room, so we'll have to give you it later. I'm ever so sorry, but there is something for you, I promise, and you'll get that later on. Barbara, I missed you in all the thanks. I don't know what you've done since the present.
She provided you with a wife.
Okay, thank you. This one's for Keith. I'm sure you'll have many happy hours in that one, hopefully.
Thank you
Thank you very much. Simon, I think I'll just hang on to this until I've heard your speech. There you go, thank you very much. And Michaela and Andrew, it's a joint thing, being man and wife, so you both want to come together and collect this one. Come on, it's heavy.
And can I just say, knowing Michaela, there is a gift receipt in the bag for you, okay? So you can take it back tomorrow when you want to exchange it.
Another season ticket then,
Is it underwear?
It's a thoughtful present. I wouldn't torture you with it. Thank you very much. I'm afraid it was too big to wrap, so you'll have to accept it as it is.
Yes.
I hope you all continue to enjoy yourselves. We've got a disco later on, and I'll be getting football results shortly, so I'll update anybody with any results if they need to know them. Finally, I heard a quote the other day which was attributed to Winston Churchill, which he was was talking about speeches, and he said that a good speech should be like a woman's skirt, short, long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to show a bit of interest. So I'll end it there. Thank you very much.
Hello there. I'm Simon. I have the honour, dubious as it may be, of being Dave's best man. I've carefully scripted a speech over the last however many months that I've known. Tried to include as much as I possibly can. But I came to realise that this morning, if I'd only written it this morning, there's enough happens in Dave's life in a 24-hour period to write any number of best man scripts. As Joe and Tammy left yesterday, apparently the neighbour was walking past the front. They left Tammy's house, and the neighbour was walking past, left Joe's house. The neighbour was walking past the front door, and she saw Tammy and Joe leaving, and apparently muttered under breath, "I knew that wouldn't last. I knew that wouldn't last." And when I arrived about 7 o'clock tonight, last night, carrying a bag, going in, I knew he was gay. I knew he was gay. And then this morning, the photographer turns up. We have to go like that in the window. She's walking past again. So I told you. Anyway, listen. This is something of an honour. It's a dubious honour. I say it's like being asked to sleep with the Queen. An honour, but nobody actually really wants to do it. But I have got this this particular task. The problem was, though, there wasn't a lot to go on. Then I sent an email out to people, and I was absolutely deluged. So thank you indeed for everybody that's come back with the stories that I couldn't remember. I was going to split it into two halves. Dave's bad points for the first half, and Dave's not so good points for the second half. But I've got 85 minutes of me rambling on, a quick piss break, and then back for 45 seconds. Wouldn't have been quite the balance that we wanted. So I'm going to do it all in one go, if that's okay. We had one telegram this morning. I've opened it already. I do beg your pardon. I should have let you two open it, but it's from your Uncle Fred, who says he can't come because he's 111. I had to read it again. He's actually ill. We apologise, Dave. The first question I asked in the survey, and thanks again for answering it, was, what did you think about Dave when you first met him? And apart from Joe, who was kind of liked him, the rest of you didn't. And the simple fact of the matter is that there's a male-female split in here. That the males, when they first met him, didn't like him. That's fair enough, nor did I. But we've got to like him more. The women also didn't like him when they first met him, and they now like him less. With the possible exception of Joe, who has kind of just crossed the board a little bit. But thank you for that. The truth is, there isn't anybody here who wouldn't miss Dave now if he wasn't around. And apparently, as Quorn's oldest bridegroom since 2006, you all better make the most of it while you can. And for those who didn't know, by the way, this is Dave's second time round. He did realise, I don't know if he didn't realise I was going to say anything about this, and thanks for Bruce for reminding me about it, I'd just forgotten. But he realised it wasn't perfect, the wedding wasn't going to be perfect, and the bride turned up in Doc Martens, a shaved head, dungarees and smoking a pipe. I think that might be a picture on the wall there, though. It would be coincidence if it was. But anyway, this has given him about 40 years to road test quite a few models since. Although models in some instances might not be quite the right word. Anyway, how did we meet? We didn't meet on a golf course. A lot of you thought we might meet at the golf course. Some of you thought we might meet at work. One or two thought we met at the barber's. None of that's true. We met when I moved down to Huntingdon. Dave was already in Huntingdon. And I was working in a bar to supplement my meagre income of council salary. And it was quiet one late Saturday afternoon, I believe, before the football results, no doubt. And this bloke came in and walked up to the bar, looked a bit flushed, and he said to me, "Can you get me a double brandy? Make it quick." So, yeah, no problem. I've got an optic, put it on the table, he gave me £2 or whatever it was then, and he knocked it back in one. And he said, "Go on, you better get me another." So I did the same again. Gave me another £2, and he knocked that one back in one. And he said, "Go on, it's got to be 3. Optic, on the table, £2, down in one." I said, "Forgive me for asking, but are you celebrating something?" That's quite a pace you're going out of the home. He says, "Well, if you must know, I've just had my first ever blowjob." So I said, "Well, cheers. Thanks for telling me, but, allow me to get you a 4th by way of celebration." He says, "No, 3 can't get rid of the taste, the 4th's not going to make any difference." Anyway, a common link, though, is golf. And my question to Dave, and to anybody that's ever known or played with Dave at golf, is how can anyone love something so much that they're chronically useless at? We once went to the NEC, to the Golf World exhibition it was really. We queued for about 40 minutes to play in a simulator where you had to hit a ball at a curtain, which is about as big as that size of that room there, from about 10 yards away, which was a simulation of a green about 160 yards away. And we waited ages, we were chatting, there was a nice prize at the end of it, and I went first, and I hit a 6-iron or something like that, and I just missed the green with my first shot, got 2 shots each, and my second shot just got onto the green, but not near enough to win a prize. Dave went, picked the 3-iron, it was 160 yards after all, and he not only nearly missed it, he got right underneath the ball missed the curtain completely, went up in front of the curtain, hit the iron rafter above it, clanged about in there, clanged down to the right, all these people died for cover, and the bloke said, do you mind not having another shot there? And we were rushing away. So he got his golf, and that was at the peak of his form, so imagine what it's been like either side of that. For those that have been on golf holiday with him, he's a great golf organiser. He was for the first 7 or 8 years. Bruce and others have been on that, Neil certainly, Steve, Phil, and you've all been scammed by Dave at some stage. The insurance scam is one of the more notable ones, where he charged everybody a certain amount at every course we went to by way of a surcharge that the courses were imposing. Nobody else has ever discovered that one since. And he religiously organised it, although it's quite difficult organising golf tours. He managed to do it for about 7 or 8 years, until somebody else said, let me have a go. So we rang the same company up that Dave's read, that Dave's used for the last 7 or 8 years. And the first thing they said was, are you bringing the 8 as normal, which we always had? And the same deal applies, sir. You get 1 free place in the 8. Hang on. For the last 7 years, we've all played full price, I do believe. So Dave had managed to cream off, don't shake your head either, managed to cream off 1 full holiday every year for 7 years. So part of this is payback for that. The payback will intensify shortly. He has had a hole-in-one, by the way. I do mock his golfing ability, and you all do. But he has had, and unlike some of us, a hole-in-one. He had it somewhere, and don't correct me here, but somewhere in Leicestershire, somewhere in the middle of the day, and somewhere where the bar was busy, when it is tradition for a golfer to get a hole-in-one, to buy a drink for everybody in the clubhouse when they get back. Dave spent 2.5 hours unpacking his bag in the car park before he made it back to the clubhouse, by which time there were 4 people left, 3 of which were his playing partners. He bought 2 pints of lager, half a bit, and a bag of cheese and onion crisps as his award. And yeah, Pete can verify that, because I think he might have been with him.
He was there.
There he was.
He didn't see it though, because he was peeing into the bush behind.
He was also once asked the question in golf. He's a golf devotee, I can't deny it. He loves golf. But he was once asked the question, and I think it was Neil that asked him, but I've got the envelope with the answer in here, that said, which would you rather never do again, golf or shag? The answer is in this envelope. 9:10 on the tee tomorrow, Dave, I presume?
Yeah.
And anyway, over the course of 20 years, I've got more to know about his personal life, as did most people within 20 metres of listening to him, to be honest. So if you've picked up more than you should have, that's his fault. You may not, however, have heard about Peyronie's disease. Peyronie's disease. Some people have. Peyronie's disease is a disease that affects only men, only a certain part of the body, but causes that part of the body to turn at right angles. Right? It's hard to imagine, hard to imagine. But what it means is that when you go to a urinal, you really have to stand in the next one to the one you're going in. Right? Imagine what's going on here. Right? It's not too bad for Dave. But it's terrible for the person who doesn't realise what's going on and stands in that next urinal and just gets this stream of yellow liquid down their left leg without realising what's going on. He just sort of turns over, hence the chin a number of times. So, but he's cured that. I don't actually know, to be fair. Never saw it at personal distance. He's also a bit of an expert at DIY. Those of you that have been to his house in Huntingdon may have been assailed by this rather strange smell once. He'd been doing a bit of home DIY, which involved painting his radiators. I'm not sure creosote is the best material for paint, and when your radiator warms up, it just tends to stink a little bit. So David painted all his radiators nicely brown, to be honest, and the walls were painted in creosote. They've gone fungus-free ever since, but the smell remains. Anyway, he will also have stayed with you on an evening occasionally, and I do apologise for this part of the story, because he's mildly embarrassing, this bit, but for those of you that have entertained him on a Saturday night, and then the following morning, I thought you'd have a bit of a lie-in with your husband or your wife, and pop down and make him a cup of coffee, take it back to bed for him, to be met by the sight, as you return to the lounge the following morning, of a bloke sat there in just his orange underpants, with his leg over the arm of the chair, scratching himself, watching the rerun of Match of the Day. I apologise to anybody who's ever seen that sight, but there's a few people going, oh my God, it wasn't just me. But particularly the ladies, who anticipate going up a bit of a cuddle with their husband perhaps, and that probably put them off for years, but never mind. He loves his football, you know the Lincoln stories, you know all that. And it is true, those of you that thought the rumour that his wedding's been brought forward to accommodate Soccer Saturday and the disco ends at 10:15 to let him watch Match of the Day are not untrue. So you'll beware when the dance floor clears around 10:15. We've left HTC, we've both left HTC. Dave's gone on, catapulted around the country. And I did sort of form a comparison between Dave's career and Henry VIII's wives. Henry VIII's wives, you didn't know, were died, beheaded, divorced, beheaded, died and relieved. Dave's has been resigned, fired, suspended, fired, resigned and stuck. So him and Henry VIII, actually a lot more similarities than you might have thought. Anyway, during one of his working stopovers, he did meet Joe, or number 86, as he delicately put it at the time. Joe was his landlady in Halifax. Dave's version was, he weaved his magic and the rest is history. Joe's version was, he couldn't afford the rent and what's a girl to do? They differ slightly, but we don't accept that. But the rest, as they say, and it culminated in the production of Elliot and this beautiful day that they're having today. And I have to say that Jo is a wonderful woman, and she does deserve a wonderful man. And I'm not going to rest until I find out what's gone wrong with her. Dave quickly learned, by the way, how important it is to get on with his mother-in-law. All married men know this. And as Dave said recently, he said he didn't speak to Joe's mum Barbara for the first 2 years. Not because he was shy, just because he couldn't get a word in edgeways. And since then, for those who didn't know, and who can't believe there isn't anybody in Lincolnshire, Leicestershire or Huntingdonshire that doesn't know, he was on Countdown. Memorably forgetting to mention Joe's name when he did the thanks and tributes to everybody when asked to say who he was. But where he won 9 times against some of the worst players ever to grace the panel 14. People who were deaf, people who were blind, people who didn't have the reactions to press the buzzer or anything like that. But he did appear while we were on golfing holiday in Turkey, and he was full of it, didn't want anybody to know anything, but it eventually leaked out what had happened. And he came back, we all came back on the plane, and he switched his phone back on at Luton, expecting this deluge of messages, congratulations. He'd been on by about 6 times by then, to be met by one pip. When it was Joe saying, "What time are you back?" And not one single word of congratulations for anybody. But I'm sure this did appear at some stage. And so over the years, we've learnt of many, and there are many, of his more irritating habits. We've made passing reference to the leg over the chair. He coined the expression "more farts than shots" in golf. His addiction to TV, The Bill, This Is Your Life, Dinner Ladies, Coronation Street, The Daily Telegraph, adding T's to words that don't need it, the word council, the word pencil, and 2 inches. And for the ladies that automatically thought what I was talking about there, so that's the shortest putt he's ever missed as well. And stretching words that don't really need it, like bell, and flex, and stretch. You can make that last 30 seconds at his best. But let's look at some of the characteristics that make up Dave Wilkinson we have here today. His generosity, his characteristics of the ideal man. Generosity. How many of you had Xmas presents from Dave that have been already tested? The bookmarks in the book. Let's give away clues here. The bookmarks in the book. No cellophane on the DVD. And my low moment of all, the skid marks in the underwear. His compassion. We had an ill member of the golf tour once. a gentleman called Bevis. He's not been invited today, but he was genuinely nearly on death's door on a golfing holiday once. Not a murmur of compassion from Dave. Come on, I'm starving, let's get off to the restaurant. He's no sharer, he's not particularly a carer. I put honesty as a possible characteristic, but I won't go into that one. And romance. Although romance today, actually Dave surpassed all my expectations. Holding hands was two steps beyond what I thought he might manage, but he's done all right. But he failed them all in the Cosmopolitan Ideal Husband test, which we both did last night. You can add in his relationship with his brother Steve. They don't see eye to eye all the time. They did have an eye to eye fight on a plane once, which caused them both to be arrested when we arrived back in the States. All over who got flat seat number 15A. One had to sit in the window seat and one didn't, and that was memorable. And then another golfing tour where they went on a trip. We bought a villa, and we'd gone through, to get to the villa, we'd gone through a little village, it looked very nice. Dave and Steve went out in a car to book the table for the restaurant later in the evening. Came back about an hour and a half later saying, sorry lads, we couldn't find it. What, the restaurant? No, the village. They drove around for an hour and a half trying to find this village 4 miles away, never did manage it. And you'd think, with all these bad points, it's impossible to like him. And I've mentioned the point already that it's true, nobody does at first. But there's probably about 20% of you here that actually do now. The rest of you are here for the freebie meal, that's fine. But why do we like him? Why on earth do we like Dave? All those things I've listed, they're not things that people are proud to be, but no one, and there's nobody here, I guarantee it, is more interesting company. He grows on you. A bit like a wart, perhaps, but he's funny, he's bright, he's opinionated. I think it's like watching a zoo animal through cage bars. You wouldn't want to be in, but he is irresistible viewing. Nobody would make a better Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here contestant than Dave. And I urge you to sign the petition at the bottom of the doorway there to get him in there for next year. Joe will be glad of the break, I'm absolutely sure. He sent out an email on his stag do. He sent out an email to all people on how to get to Coventry. And he attached what, for me, signifies Dave all over. He gave us the postcode of this venue in Coventry, but the attachment at the bottom said, for those of you that have got sat-nav, here's the postcode. I wouldn't give it house room. So he doesn't want anything other than, I don't know, even this morning we were coming down to the wedding venue. I'm driving. I said, where do we go now? He says, I don't know, I've never been. Well, where's... No directions, we can always ask somebody. Can you imagine 2 blokes in penguin outfits pulling up alongside the postman saying, can you tell us where Corn Country Hotel is? Anyway, he's a traditionalist in the best and the worst sense of the word. He's irritating to the point of insanity, but completely fascinating at all times. The best thing about him, though, is he never takes anything personally. Abuse him all you like, and I urge you to abuse him all you can. He's a housing officer, that says everything. But he's also been a football referee, for heaven's sake. We once played golf with him. On the 12th hole at Brampton, we decided, me and Neil, we'd playing golf with him. First 11 holes, let's be nice to Dave. On the 12th hole, he says, what's wrong with you two? You're not abusing me enough. And he proceeded to play quite well for the last 7 holes. So, abuse him, please. There's no lesson in life, please abuse him. Miraculously, though, he's now a dad. And he and Joe have produced something of an infant prodigy. Joe thankful that Elliot took on her looks, and Dave bravely turning a deaf ear to Elliot's classmates asking him why his granddad is picking him up. No 4-year-old has a vocabulary like Elliot's. Admittedly, some wrong words, for fuck's sake and bollocks, aren't the 2 favourites. But he will be following Dave into Countdown in the very near future, of that there's no doubt. Elliot did say to me last time I saw him, actually, he said, he's into golf now, as he saw by the bag. He said, Daddy, you have an important job. You've got to go to the garage and get my clubs out for me. Uncle Simon, your job isn't that important. You've just got to watch me. Anyway, there is a rumour, if you don't know, and I don't know it's confirmed, I hope Elliot isn't here to hear it, but that you're going to France for a week, I think. But Dave has told me that it's not, it's North Wales. I think his exact words were, after the wedding, I'm going to bang her for 7 days. Is that what we meant? Sorry. Can I, please, in the absence of anybody else doing the honours, can I ask you all to raise your glasses and toast the new bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. David Wilkinson. Dave and Joe.
Dave and Joe.
Dave and Joe.